So how old were you when you went into rehab for the first time?
Oh, man, the first time I graduated high school at 19. I was 21.
And did your parents send you, or did you say, I needed it?
No, I didn't want to stop doing drugs. I was too young to quit, but I didn't want to die either.
Because it is tough when you're young, bro.
Yeah, what happened was I had just finished watching that movie Terminator 2. And we were at the movie theater, and my friend busted out one of those wet sticks, a PCP. And we were smoking it in the movie at the drive-ins. We're outside the drive-in theater.
That's some heavy hallucinogenics.
And they were drinking, and by the time I got home, I thought I was the Terminator.
Yeah.
And I got into a fight with somebody who didn't like me, and things got out of hand.
That didn't like you, or you thought didn't like you?
No, he didn't like me.
Oh, okay.
Things got out of hand.
He was a hater, or what?
Yeah, he was trying to choke me to death when we were fighting, and he got the best of me, but I saw his ear close to my face, and I bit like half his ear off.
You went Mike Tyson on him.
Hell yeah, man. I bit half his ear off, and then...
Yeah, because it's street fighting. There's no rules.
It was one of those fights, man. People don't understand that if it's a... So I got beat up. A lot of the people that join UFC who never been to in a real fight don't know, man, that when you fight in the streets, it's different from fighting in the ring. There are no rules, homie. When you fall on the ground, that guy's going to pee on you. He's going to pull it out and pee on your head. That's a real fight right there. That means don't ever come at me again.
Yeah.
That means next time you see me, you're going to bring a gun because I'm going to kill you.
And that's worse than getting a black eye.
That's worse. That's the real fight. Yeah. So when I was fighting that guy, I took it to the next level. I took my belt off. I started whipping him in the streets.
Oh, yeah.
Like a runaway slave. Come here, Kunta Kinte. And then like his brothers jumped in and got out of hand. Put it this way. They sent that guy to the hospital with broken ribs and like all kinds of stuff. And then when the police talked to him, he goes, "You want to press charges?" He said, "Nope."
And then
I got scared.
Yeah. And you said...
He said, "Nope."
And you said, I gotta go to rehab.
I gotta go to rehab. He's gonna come back and kill me now.
And was that the only rehab stint you did?
Yeah, I went to rehab. I stood there for about a year. And I was like,
damn, a year?
Yeah.
Those are usually 30 days.
Man.
How could you afford a year in rehab, man? What were your parents doing? Were they able to afford that, or what?
I don't know how they did it, but...
or was it a state thing, or what?
This rehab knew all the in and outs of the probation and parole system. They know that parolees come out with money.
Yeah.
There's a check involved, there's a county involved. So
and they want it back.
So what the rehab will do, if you had a job, they'll I guess your money will, your rehab will pay it, your job will pay it. What's it called? When you have a check.
A restitution?
I don't know what they call, but I don't know, when you have unemployment, right?
Yeah.
You apply for unemployment.
Okay.
So yeah, most of the people that were there, I applied for unemployment, so my unemployment checks were going into the rehab.
Yeah.
And then they applied others to food stamps. So all the food stamps.
So you were mandated. You were mandated to rehab then by the law, or what?
No, I just volunteered.
You volunteered, and did they tell you want to volunteer for rehab, or will you go to jail?
Yeah.
Did they give you some type of option like that?
It was more like stay alive or go to jail.
Okay.
So Father Greg Boyle, he's the one that took me to a rehab. So I think this is what happens. Mine was paid with disability. Okay. So anybody who couldn't afford it, they will apply for disability, or they will apply for general relief, or they will apply for welfare. And then the state will pay for their staying in rehab for them.
Well, that's fascinating, man, because, I mean, we know the comedian Felipe Esparza, but I like to find out all that cool stuff of how you ended up where you're at today, bro.
It was bad, bro. When I fall off the wagon is the worst. Anybody listening right now, man, and you think that you could go back to doing coke or go back to smoking pot or go back to drinking like a normal person, you are not a normal person, first of all.
Yeah.
You ain't one of those guys that could have one beer and then go play with his kids.
You can look at me and say that, bro, because I'm just like you.
You're not one of those guys that could just have one beer and then go play with their kids. No. My kid will not see me for a year.
Yeah.
So my bad time was in Houston, Texas. I was in doing a comedy show at the comedy show doesn't exist anymore. But I got so messed up. I remember the last thing I did was I called up room service and I asked him to bring me a big spoon and baking soda.
Hey, that was it. You're off to the
And
races.
they brought it, bro.
Yeah.
They just looked at me funny.
And lots of lighters.
Lots of lighters.
And bring some cigarettes for ashes. And it's just a horrible thing, bro.
Man, it's funny, like, I remember, like, partying in Houston, Texas, and, like, they have, like, no zoning laws over there. So you could have a business anywhere.
Yeah.
And I went to the after-hour party in Holmes Road. I remember Holmes Road.
Hey, Holmes.
Holmes Road. And there was 2 after-hour parties. And the first one, I was the only Mexican in there. Everybody there just came from a Ludacris concert or something. Everybody there was black. And I remember, like, they gave me a bump, and it was like the best bump I ever had in my life. Where
woke you up.
I had to sit down, and of course the rest was crap.
You didn't have to go to the bathroom right away?
No, man.
Take a crap?
But I've had people in Iowa tell me that the Coke is bad. Once I bought it, they said, man, this ain't the regular Coke you used to. Don't drink a Sprite tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So, man, I'm just glad you're doing well, and I'm glad that your career is doing really well as well, man. And you know what? It's dangerous for us guys that have a history of addiction and alcoholism to have good money.
Yeah, man.
Because, when you got money, your mind, and if you got time to spare, your mind starts kind of wandering and thinking, you know what? I'm doing good.
I'm doing good. I deserve this vacation.
I got $4,000 in my pocket. If I spend just one,
I wish I had
I'll
that
still
much.
have 3. And before you know it, you're broke.
I know, man.
I mean, but the intentions were just $1,000, right? But once we get started, there ain't no stopping us, steady.